this wonderful picture of His Majesty the King. It's one of my favourites, you know. I think he looks very relaxed, and let's not forget, this is a man that's still going through all those health issues. I think we often do forget that, you know, because he's just put on such a stoic response to it. And as I've said to you before, I really admire him for that, because I think, you know, it's the way forward, isn't it? I know it's difficult for a lot of people, and I know people are in a far worse situation, and I know he's got the best health care and all that sort of stuff. But I think sometimes you have to just face it head on and think you are not going to win over me, you know, that sort of thing. It's like, it's just determination, isn't it? And I think you can see that in this picture. But it's just a glorious picture in celebration, of course, of the wonderful Scottish poet Robert Burns taking on that particular time as well. I just think it looks great. But of course, when you see there, you see a man, of course, who's got a lot of problems, particularly with his youngest son, but also his eldest son. Yes, there are problems in that relationship. Let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time. Nice to have your company. It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because William has matured. There's no two ways about it. I think he's become very good, you know, as king in waiting. And let's not forget, this is a terrible situation for anybody, literally, because, you know, when you think you don't get the top job until somebody demises, they don't retire over here in the British monarchy. You have to wait, you know, and then when you wait, suddenly, as we saw with our late and brilliant Queen Elizabeth, no time for sort of dismissive tears and stuff, straight on with the job, signing, protocol, monarchy duties, everything. It's tough. It really is tough. But of course, you have to adhere to what the public want, and the public want that, stoicism and continuity. That's the bigger picture. Now, the problem between King Charles and, of course, the Prince of Wales, His Royal Highness Prince William, is simply this. You see, William, as we now know, wants to row his own boat, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, that's the thing. But it's the public that decide whether, you know, they like what you're doing or not. And the bigger picture is this. You see, recently, more than ever, we've seen His Majesty the King alongside the Queen Camilla, attending church on a regular basis. It's good. You know, I like to see it, and I think in a Christian country, this is now needed more than ever. It should be a reflection of what we stand for. And as the head of the church, of course, and many other faiths, as he pointed out in his coronation, it's good to see His Majesty the King taking the stand and going. Nowhere to be seen, though, is the Prince of Wales or indeed the Princess of Wales. And according to a very well-placed source, this is a cause of very much, shall we say, irksome annoyance for His Majesty the King. You see, the bottom line is over here in the United Kingdom right now, we are being invaded. There's no two ways about it. And more than ever, the subjects, us, the people that support the British monarchy, need this stoicism leadership. And we believe, many people believe that, of course, you know, Prince William alongside Catherine should be there with His Majesty the King, or indeed pictured somewhere else attending weekly church service as the, well, going to be head of the Christian church. Now, the story goes that William isn't particularly, you know, religious, as ever we have to say, allegedly, you know, takes in it, believes it, but not, you know, sort of to the devoted level, say, of His Majesty the King, who, like his mother before him, very much placed a lot on her faith and was guided by it and took advice naturally from what, you know, she was given. And nothing wrong with that. Clearly, it worked for her. But the point of, you know, sort of the story is this, that this is still going on behind the scenes because William doesn't necessarily believe it resonates with the younger audience. Now, the bottom line is the younger audience are not your audience. You are in your 40s, both of you, and you really have to look at exactly what the public want. Now, it's all very well, isn't it, wanting people to get behind the climate, earth shock, that sort of things. But it's the real groundwork that the people want from you. And very soon, in my opinion, and this is what's swirling around inner courts right now, is if William doesn't get a stance on this and show a reflective stance as the head of the church in the future at some point, well, this could spectacularly backfire on him. I'd love to know what you think. As you can imagine, King Charles has enough on his plate with his own health problems right now, but he can only push it so far and lead by example, something he does, I believe, incredibly well. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.